Did you know that one person can start a chain reaction for good that will influence people far, far outside their personal circle? Hello, I'm Clarence. I'm the preacher. I'm here to encourage you that you can be one of those people. And I want to talk to you about that starting right now. Now, of course, we're not talking about global change. I really want to scale things way, way down because I think one of the mistakes that we make today is we think on this big global level because we have access to so much global information, but none of us have the ability to make a global change. That's an extremely rare person. Not even the President of the United States has that ability. So what we want is we just want one active person in their own little community doing something that is constructive, because just that one active person with conviction and faith and some passion is going to make more difference than 10,000 people with nothing but a good intention who sit around on the couch and do basically nothing most of the time. So we're going to do what we can do. We're going to look around. We're going to find out what we are interested in. What's our passion? What part of Christianity do you want to get into and take out there into the community? Do you want to teach kids? Do you want to help the poor? Do you want to help the elderly? What is it? Where do you want to go? And when you find that place where you say, oh yeah, that's where I really want to excel, then you step into it. Very small scale. And you do the good that you have the ability to do, and you keep growing your talents there. Now, think about it, because this is how Christianity basically began. Christianity was basically dead in the water at the crucifixion. In the Great Commission, Christ gave his 11 remaining disciples the instruction to go into all the world, teach the gospel to every creature. Now, there was no way that those 11 men could literally go into all the world and teach the gospel to every single person on the planet. That wasn't going to happen. That wasn't even the idea. The idea was they were simply to do the good they were able to do in their own small scale, in their own personal circle, that little area. And then as they started that chain reaction, people would tell people, and now here we are, 2,000 years later, with this wonderful thing we call Christianity, and it has reached its way all the way around the globe, because those early disciples simply did the good that was available for them to do on a very, very small scale. That's what we're talking about. It's kind of like the starfish story. Now, I'm sure you've probably heard this story. Let me remind you of it. There's simply a little boy. He's walking on the beach after a storm has blown through in the night, and the storm has blown thousands and thousands of starfish upon the beach, and they're dying on the sand. So the little boy comes along that next morning. He starts picking up starfish and putting them back in the water. And while he's busy doing this, an elderly gentleman walks by and looks at the boy and says, "Son, what are you doing?" And the boy says, "I'm saving these starfish." And the man looks up and down the beach and he sees thousands and thousands of starfish. It's just hopeless. And he says, "Son, you'll never make a difference." The little boy reaches down, picks up a starfish, puts it back in the water and says, "I made a difference to that one." And that's the way we're going to do it. That's the way we affect change, is understanding that we change one heart at a time, starting with our own. Yeah, we want to make change out there, but first we have to be the change that we want to see in the world, and then we just try to inspire 2 or 3 other people to also make those kind of positive changes. Now, it's again very small scale. Christ said, "Let your light so shine before men that they may glorify our Father in heaven." So now, here's what we want to do. We want to let our light shine at your home address. Now, if you live by yourself, this is really going to be easy. But let's assume you're married, or maybe you have some other family members with you. And just right there in that very, very small scale, you're going to sit around and go, okay, I am going to be an influence. I'm going to be a force for change. I'm going to be positive here. I'm going to be contagious, and I'm going to change this environment if it needs changing. And then you're going to take that same attitude to work if you're working. And you're going to be that light, that warmth, that enthusiasm that shines in the workplace. And you're not going to manipulate people. You're really just going to set an example for them to follow. You're going to give them permission to change. You're going to make it safe to change. And so as you set that example and they think, hey, that's good, and they start to follow you, now you've done it. And you didn't even have to do that much. And then at church, of course, absolutely at church, please. If you're not a part of a church, you need to get a part of a church and understand that there's some great people at church. And there's some people at church, we're still trying to get the change. We're still trying to get some of them starfish off the sandy beach and back in the water. And it's a tough job sometimes. So, small scale, you're going to let your light shine right there where you live. Just where you shop and the family you live with and the people you work with. And you're not even going to think about the world. Don't worry about the world. World is way too big for any of us to handle. But if we'll start doing it one heart at a time, and that starts with our own heart, and then we influence a person or two, if you do the math, it's phenomenal what could happen. But first we have to have the faith and the conviction and the passion to start with that first small step. Pick up that first starfish and take them back into the water and start making a difference one at a time. Small, but there can be change, and you and I can be that change. So we don't have to sit around and watch the world just fall apart, and it looks like it's falling apart. We can step in and make a difference, and we can start doing it one heart at a time. Put your comments below, share this video, encourage some other folks. Let's see if we can start a grassroots movement. And as always, I hope you have a great day.